Hey, how's it going? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, you better be having a good one. Now, I'm filming this right before Christmas Eve, and what better way to celebrate the holidays than to just unbox a bunch of stuff you bought yourself. Now, I didn't buy all this in December, some I did, but others been sitting in my room since like October. So I've just accumulated a bunch of figures that I haven't gotten around to unboxing yet, things that I don't plan to show off in their own reviews, and I figured I'd just do this like cozy, comfy video where I just, kind of ramble as I always do and show you guys what I've been buying. So honestly, I just want to get started because I know these tangents go a mile if I don't stop. So let's begin. Alright, first up is my most recent box from Ami Ami. 2 figures inside. I've already opened it up, so no element of surprise here. But we're going to start off with one that I'm pretty excited to see, even though it's a small figure. And that is Siegmeyer from Dark Souls in his own little baggie. Now, I've talked about this one before in one of my pre-order roundups, basically saying that I think this was the better buy instead of the Siegmeyer Nendoroid. I just did not like how Max Factory painted that figure, and I was kind of, shilling for this instead, even though there's no affiliation here. I just love Dark Souls, and I love FromSoft, and I really should have more figures from this series. But, yeah, this cost around 6,000 yen, I believe. Really shouldn't be much to this guy. He's about like 5 to 6 inches tall. You have to put in his sword, which is fine. Is there tape on here? Oh, there is. Of course there is. Alright, okay. Box is out. Instructions. I can't imagine I need that. Little black base. Slightly textured, as if it was like a blacktop, like your driveway. The boy himself honestly looks great. Like, my problem with the Max Factory Nendoroid is that he was so clean. But this guy, without even giving him his sword, the Zweihander, I believe, is already, like, really impressive. Like, he looks rusty. He looks dirty. That's what this character and this armor set should look like. The world of Dark Souls is not a clean place. Unless you go to Anorlando, I guess. He's an adventurer. He's gonna get dirty. He's gonna fight monsters and stuff. And I'm gonna shut up now and put him on the base. There's only one peg, so I guess you just kind of swivel him in there, and then it's fine. I'm just going to assume, yeah, you just take off the handle, then slide it into his hand, and then put it on however it fits. And there you go. Little loose. It's not like the tightest grip, but honestly, because of the handle of the sword, it's not going to go anywhere, so I think that's perfectly fine. Admittedly, I was a little on the fence about this guy, as I never bought anything from Art Spirits. But for like $50 to $60, this is pretty impressive. It's a really solid interpretation of the character, and these are supposed to be like chibi figures, but because of his body proportions and how fat he is, like, it almost doesn't even look that way. It just kind of seems like they shrunk him down. But I'm pretty sure the proportions are slightly, altered to make this figure work the way it does. But yeah, this size and this price point, the paintwork and the detailing is pretty excellent. I love the texturing on the pierce shield. The sword is super rusty and even feels rough to touch. This guy is like actually caked in dirt. It just looks gross everywhere, which is a plus. I think the only thing I've noticed on this figure that is probably a flaw is right above the belt. It seems like there's a little bit of paint chipping, not too much, and it honestly does blend in. But I'm pretty sure that is a flaw of this figure, so I guess I'll take points away from that, even though I don't feel like giving it a review because I don't really care. It looks great, and it's cheap. So, nice one to start us off. Alright, let's just chuck that box on my bed. I'll leave him here for now, maybe. I don't really know. Okay, next up in our box here is May or Rosa with Snivy. Now, I'm going to call her Rosa. I think it's a cuter name, and I already have a May from Pokemon and a May from Guilty Gear, so I need to differentiate my characters a little bit. But yes, this is the re-release, which is pretty exciting because this figure was very expensive on the aftermarket, like $300 plus, and I don't recommend buying figures for that much of a markup because, one, your money could probably be spent in better places, and two, it's Pokemon and Kotobukiya. There was a good chance this would get re-released eventually. So, I'm glad I waited, and now I get to open her up. I really don't know what I was thinking not buying this figure when it was originally released. Actually, I do remember why I didn't buy this. It was because I was trying to buy more expensive and, like, grandiose figures, stuff that was more impressive on the shelf, and May just didn't really fall into that category. But that's not normally how I collect, so I don't know why I decided to stop on one of my favorite Pokemon Girl designs. If not my favorite, I really do like Rosa here, but I don't know, sometimes you just do stupid things, and also this is a really finicky piece of plastic. Why did they tie this so tight compared to everything else? I don't understand. Okay, that was needlessly difficult. Thankfully, these Pokemon Girls always just come, like, screwed onto the base, so you never have to really assemble much. Just put the Pokemon on the base. Here we have Snivy, who's looking pretty dang good. A lot bigger than I was expecting compared to the other ones that I have, like Morpeko or Piplup or Torchic. Snivy looks pretty solid and also has these, like, really nice semi-transparent leaves under him. Rosa is so cute, and this figure is so pleasant. It just looks nice. It's simple, right? There's nothing crazy going on in this figure. The character design and, like, the pastel colors kind of carries it a little bit. That Pokemon art style definitely carries it a little bit. But really, if you like Pokemon, these figures are a no-brainer, right? She's lightly shaded, but I wouldn't say there's no shading on this figure. I really do like the way they painted her stockings. I think her hair looks excellent. And while the shoes and the socks and the shorts don't really have that much to speak of, the colors look great on each of those parts, so I really don't have much to complain about. It's a clean paint job too, about what you would expect from Kotobukiya, and just like all these other Pokemon figures from the company, they're all really affordable, so it's hard to really dislike anything about this for the price that they're asking for. These Pokemon figures come down to just personal preference, like do you like this character design, or do you like Pokemon Black and White 2 in this instance? And I would say yes to both. I think that game is amazing, and Rosa's design is super cute. I love her gigantic bun hair, the visor's really cool, the sneakers are fresh, and it all just comes together in, like I said earlier, a really pleasant way. So this doesn't really need my recommendation. You know if you want this. You know how these figures look. Would I recommend it? Yes, but you already know if you want this, and considering the way that the Pokemon figures work, you probably already bought it unless you just didn't know it existed. So if you didn't know, then just go buy this if you like it, because the aftermarket is usually pretty cruel for these girls. But anyway, I guess that's it for Rosa. Okay, next up is one that I don't have the cardboard box for, and it's Mona. Now this is a figure that probably could get its own review, but I'm pretty late to the party on this one. Not that I didn't buy it right away, I did, I just never got around to talking about it. Everybody bought this figure though. This was so popular that I feel like there's no point in me making a review on it at this time, so I'm just gonna give my initial impression on it today. Now I gotta admit, and I've probably said this before, but I don't play Genshin Impact, so why did I buy this? I think there's a pretty obvious reason as to why most people bought this figure if they didn't play this series, but yeah, Mona's just got a great character design, and I like her butt. I'll just say it, I think she's lovely, okay? And I just think this figure was a really good deal too at the time. It was like 16,000 yen on AmiAmi, something like that. And it looked great. Like everything about this figure, besides one thing we'll get to in a minute, looks fantastic. And I never bought a figure from Wonderful Works before, so I kind of wanted to test the waters here and see, you know, their quality as someone who makes reviews and kind of does want to know how these companies stack up against each other. But yeah, Mona's great. I look up fan art of her all the time, whether it be safe for work or not. But yeah, let's unbox her and get her onto the base. I gotta say, the images don't even do the butt justice. Like, you get it, it's pronounced, it's in your face, but like, I guess being able to view it at like any angle you want at any time really does show you how much they put into this butt sculpt. It's pretty dang good. How do I get this on the base now? This is very awkward. I can't see what I'm doing because of the water swirls, but like, I can't seemingly get it in. I don't really know what's wrong. This is always like the most terrifying shit when it comes to putting together a figure. I'm so afraid of snapping something, but it feels like it needs so much force. I can see that both peg holes are in the foot, but I just can't wiggle it in anymore. I think I'm gonna need the hairdryer for this one. Like, she stands, but I just can't get it in any further, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Once I brought the hairdryer out, went in just fine, so not gonna complain about it. This figure looks phenomenal. Just from a glance, I could tell that the paintwork on Mona is top notch. And I got a couple of things I want to say. Let's start off with the one negative of this figure, and it's the base. You knew it was the base. Everybody complains about the base. The blue puck at the bottom of this base is really lazy. Now the water swirl looks excellent. The transparent blue plastic, the motion of the water, it's all captured really well in this sculpt. But I don't know why they phoned in the bottom as hard as they did, when they could have very easily just like slapped on a symbol or something from the game, called it a day, and it would have been so much better. But thankfully, it doesn't really matter because this figure looks excellent. Now I do want to point out that I think this pose is a little ridiculous. Not that I hate it, but it very much feels like whoever sculpted this figure really just wanted you to be able to look at her butt and her face at the exact same time. And the end result is something that to me looks a little bit unnatural and forced, but I guess with her pushing out her butt that much, it does bring a whole extra layer of enjoyment to this figure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it. The ass sculpt is great. I mean, really, it is a reason that people bought this figure. It's nice, and it's curvy, and it's pretty big, and I have no complaints about it. If they wanted to show off her butt, they did a great job with it. So, I guess you win, Wonderful Works. You win on your silly little pose. But it's not like the pose doesn't work at all. She's clearly in motion with the water as she's twisting and contorting her body. So it does feel convincing in that way. I do like the motion of this figure, the slightly dynamic composition of it all. But the second thing I noticed outside of her rear is actually the paint job. I think the soft purple and the brown is such a nice contrasting color combination. That soft white they airbrushed onto the witch hat and the rest of the purple of her outfit just looks superb, and it works really well with the gold ornaments too. It's a really soft, not too harsh gold, and in combination with the purples, browns, and reds, it all just comes together really strong. Like, this is just a really pretty figure to look at, and I just enjoy staring at her. I've always really loved her stocking design, the little diamond stars throughout it, the galaxy-like purple on her left leg, and I was really worried they wouldn't pull off this gradation because it's a pretty hard shift in colors, but it looks so good here. There's also this nice purple to red gradient over by her collar on the back of the figure, and on the inside of her cloak, if that's what you'd call this part of the figure, that vibrant red really catches your eye too. I just find her design lends itself so well to making a gorgeous figure, you know what I mean? The sculpting of the leotard she's wearing and the shape of her body showing through, the design of the cloak and sleeves along with the little flourishes on it, her giant oversized witch hat and her long purple twin tails that twist along with the motion of her body. I think the best thing I could say about this figure is that the value for what you're getting is actually pretty insane. Like, this is a very detailed figure for only 16,000 yen. Maybe a little bit more on the aftermarket, but I'm pretty sure she's in stock everywhere because they made so many of this figure. But it's impressive, and she's gorgeous just looking at all these little stars and moons throughout this figure, the patterns everywhere on her outfit, the colors are really nice. Her face is pretty cute, though admittedly I would have preferred a different expression, but that's just me. One more thing before we move on to the next figure. You can't remove her hat, which is kind of disappointing. I would have loved to see how she looks without that giant witch hat on, but I like witch outfits, so this is probably better in the end anyway. But yeah, this is definitely the best of the three figures we opened so far, though I'm not too surprised at that considering the rave reviews everybody gave this figure, so I'm pretty damn happy with it. Let's keep going though. Alright, next up we got a twofer, Hololive's Pakora and Korone. Now these are the only two Hololive Nendoroids I'm likely going to ever pick up. I just don't want to fall into this rabbit hole, but these are very cute and they're my two favorite girls. Clearly have bias towards one more than the other, but I like Pakora a lot, so whatever. Now, I'm going to do both of these at the same time because Nendoroid unboxings are not fun, especially on camera. So let me jump forward to when these are out of the box. I would say these are pretty comparable in terms of like how much you get, though it seems like Korone has a little bit more, maybe? Could the tape be any stickier on these? Oh my god, okay. So it's been a while since I've unboxed some Nendoroids, but these are some really good showings from Good Small Company, and I gotta be honest, I think Pakora comes out on top in terms of the sculpts, in terms of the paint job. She's got really nice detailing in her hair. The twin tails look great. Her eyes have these like tiny little bunnies in them, which I think is a detail missing on the Figma, or it's harder to appreciate it. but since they're so big here, you really get to see them shine, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Korone is adorable as well, and I like this more as a result of just being a big fan of her, but I don't know, it feels a little bit simpler compared to Pecora. I will say, though, that Korone definitely has the cuter default face, the blush, the fangs, it's all there compared to the pretty basic one that Pecora has, though not bad by any means. They both come with two little friends, the Nosugi rabbit and the Hoso Inu puppy. Very cute dog. I love that he gets his own little stand because he just can't stand on his own. But the rabbit, you just put him wherever and it works. I'm sure you could put it on her head or something, but I don't know how to pose that up right now. As far as Korone goes, you get a giant loaf of French bread, a big-ass finger, which is kind of gross looking, not gonna lie. And you also get little cutouts of her fan base, which you get a stand to prop them up. As far as faceplates go, you also get a very happy expression with her eyes closed and a yandere faceplate. Also, her ears are posable. I don't know how much expression you can get with these ears, but I do appreciate that they put them on pegs and let you swivel them around. Now, as far as accessories goes for Pecora, she gets a microphone, some sunglasses, and a droopy rabbit ear for when she's, like, stressed out, which I don't think is as impressive of a showing compared to Korone's accessories. It really makes it feel like the Figma with the bazooka is the better option if you want to have more fun with your poses and whatnot. But her additional faceplates are very cute. You get a winking expression and one where she's, like, kind of uneasy, a little flustered, works well with the droopy rabbit ear. So, for the price of, like, I don't know, $50 to $60, both of these are solid. I think they could have tried a little harder with Pecora, but the sculpt of her really does the heavy lifting here. This looks excellent. Both of them are adorable, as you would expect, so I would recommend them as fans of Hololive, as fans of Nendoroids. They're both very nicely sculpted, the paint jobs are very clean, and I forgot to mention this, but Pecora also has posable pigtails, but these actually have their own joints, so you could get a decent amount of range on them, which, I don't know, just makes it more fun to pose, right? So, yeah, two cuties getting added to the collection. It'll make me want to buy more of these Hololive Nendoroids, but I'm gonna hold out because I don't got the money for that. Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a detour from figures just for a second to talk about some other stuff that I'm actually pretty excited to show off, and it's related to Earthbound. I'm a big fan of Earthbound, and I'm always looking to add some mother-related products to my collection, but it's kind of difficult. You know, it's not really a relevant series anymore, but thanks to the Hobonichi project over in Japan, we're getting a lot more merchandise for this series, and I couldn't really be happier. Now, a couple months back, maybe like half a year or so, they released a new wave of plushies, which is pretty exciting, right? I got my hands on most of what I wanted, but I missed out on one, and they finally restocked them. I bought it, but then I couldn't help myself, and I bought a couple extra things. So, let's start showing them off. First up is the one I missed out on, and that is the Clayman doll. Now, these are enemies in the game. They're kind of enforced to work at a factory. I forget how many you fight, but it doesn't really matter. This costs around 3,800 yen, which I think is reasonable. It's a pretty big-sized plushie. It's very squishy. I'm going to take it out of the packaging really quick. Hold on. It'll make less noise if he's out of the packaging. He's really floppy. He's cute. I like him. He's got a little antenna. And the string is, like, surprisingly high quality for, like, a plush like this. But I've been pretty impressed with, like, everything I've gotten from this company so far. So, yeah, this is just really nice. I got nothing else to say about it, though. Moving on. This next one is actually new, and that is the stuffed bear plushie. So it's a plush of a stuffed bear plush that is in Earthbound. Basically, this acts as, like, a damage sponge. You give it to one of the kids, and it just takes the damage for you. It lives a sad life because it gets destroyed, and then you have to get a new one. But I really like this because it looks exactly like the sprite. It really does remind me of the game. It's a little small. It cost around 2,700 yen, I believe. And I think it's small because it's supposed to scale with the kids. Now, I bought this last time. You might have saw it in some of my videos. It hangs out on the top of my Detolf. I've never opened this. I hate that they put this in a box because I'm never going to open the box. I probably will at some point, but I don't want to mess this box up because it's really nice. Like, I don't know why they put so much effort into plushie boxes, but I guess I appreciate it. But it makes me leave them inside so that I don't mess them up. But yeah, I think it's supposed to be a little bit smaller than the kids because that's how it is in the game, right? Plastic baggies don't matter. I can open that up. Very firm plush. Actually has some beans in his butt so that he could sit up. Unlike this guy, who I guess you gotta lean against something, but whatever. Yeah, it doubles as a keychain. Very, like, nice-looking keychain and tag. There's also a little bow tie on the front. But it adds to the price, right? So, I don't feel ripped off, despite the price tag being, like, only $10 less than the clay doll. I think I like how firm it is. It makes it feel a little bit higher quality. But this is like a snuggle buddy if you actually sleep with plushies, I guess. Next up is Mr. Saturn. Now, this one's not new. This one's been around for a while. But I wanted to buy this one because I couldn't help it. I like Mr. Saturn. He's kind of like a spirit animal in a sense. He's just like me for real. I have a couple of Mr. Saturn plushies. Also, just noticed he also has beans in his butt, so he could probably stand up perfectly fine. That's awesome. It feels really soft, like softer than this guy who is already very plush. This one just has like a really almost velvety texture to it. These whiskers you could definitely damage if you mess with them. Just like every other plushie, they're always made of this material. Beady eyes, thick eyebrows. He's adorable. And he's large. And again, this one cost 3,500 yen. So I don't see how they compare in prices, but like, whatever. But we got one more thing. And this one I'm gonna honestly say I'm a little disappointed in because it's so tiny. It is the Mr. Saturn and his little house, which is an adorable concept. But again, this was 2,700 yen. I don't see how this makes sense. I really don't. I get you get an additional thing, but the little baby Mr. Saturn's so tiny. I don't know if I want to take him off of the house, so I guess I'm just going to try and stuff him in. Try not to mess up his whiskers, as he has the exact same whiskers as the big plushie. But it feels like they'll get damaged in here no matter what. There he is. There he is. It's cute. It's definitely cute. It's hard to be impressed at this, but like, it's fine. There's a little door on the back. Yeah, I would only recommend this one if you're a really big fan of Earthbound and you just feel like you have to have everything. I don't know how I would rank these, actually. I like them all. I just think this one's a slight disappointment. But, yeah, whatever. Okay, that's the Earthbound showcase. Also, Mother 3. This guy's from Mother 3. Everybody else is from Earthbound. Pretty sure. Anyway, let's move on to the figures again. Hold on one second. I didn't realize this guy's got a giant strap so that you could, like, drag him along, I guess. I don't know. He's got a keychain, so that's clearly not the same thing. I do remember a picture in the gallery of a girl just, like, doing this, so I guess that's how the kids would walk around with the plushies. But, yeah, I'm gonna put these away. Maybe on my bed or something, and then we'll, move on to the next figure. Okay, next up. Okay, so this is a box of packing peanuts. And a lesson in why you should always ask what you're buying from somebody. So the story goes that I saw this figure. It's one I wanted, but I skipped out on initially because I wasn't really collecting figures like this. But I wanted this figure all of a sudden as I started to buy more cultured figures, I guess. And I found a great price for it. And the seller said it was like new, boxed like new. Perfect, right? I asked if there was any issues with it just because I'm a little nosy. I want to know everything about the figure, and they said it was fine. So I just took the initial photos of the figure itself as proof that everything was good. And then this arrived at my house, and needless to say, I was a little confused. I think if you get a figure in a box like this and it's missing the blister, you're gonna ask questions. And we got into a little, not an argument, but we were talking about how, like, I personally feel like you can't call something like new if it's missing a component. And the seller is basically saying that she didn't really see the significance in the blister when the figure and the box were fine. And I understand her point, but I feel like this is information that I should have had regardless of how you want to classify the condition of the figure. So yeah, I have a figure without a blister, and there's no real easy way to get this out of here, so I guess I'm just gonna make a mess. Oh, there she is. It's, where's her base, actually? Hold up. Hold up. Alright, you know what? Just go. Just go. There we go. Alright, pretty easy to put on the base at the very least. This is Ashikaga Chachamaru. I like that name, by the way. Chachamaru, very cute. This is from Full Metal Daemon Muramasa, if I recall. It's a visual novel which was kind of trapped in Japan for a long time. I believe it has a English translation at this point, but I've never played it. Maybe I will one day. I've only seen artwork of this character, if you catch my drift, and I liked what I saw. So I liked this figure. It's made by Alter, and I've always wanted it, but I didn't buy it because I don't really buy too many Lewd figures, but I'm starting to make exceptions, and this is one I wanted to add to my collection. I like the pose of this one. She's kind of turning over her shoulder, body's twisting a little bit, kind of erotic, right? Smug face. It just has this nice vibe that I really dig. It's kind of like playful how she's teasing you a little bit. Shorts are coming off, top nowhere to be seen, just seeing the bra and the panties. You can actually look down the shorts and just see her butt cheeks, which is pretty nice. Honestly, the thing that really pulled me in initially when I first saw this figure was her stomach and back. I just think the definition of her body is out of this world. It is so good. Even by today's standards, I think Alter did a phenomenal job here. I don't remember how old this one is. I want to say it's about 4 years old, so it's really not outdated or anything, but it's impressive. It really looks nice. If I had to nitpick anything on this one, it would probably be her hair. It's almost like bananas, and it doesn't have that much shading to it. Doesn't look bad by any means, but it could use a little bit of definition there. Maybe an extra shade of yellow mixed in, or a little bit of black for shadows. I don't really know exactly how I would paint the hair, but I feel like something is missing to the point where it feels a little bland. Not bad by any means, just a little bit. Am I wrong or stupid for thinking this is kind of tasteful? Like, I don't know, there's something about this that feels like not super degenerate, even though it totally is. It, I don't know, it really wins me over, just like the way she's posed here. I just really like this pose and this character design. Pretty unique face too, especially her eyes. Like, the eyelashes on this are really distinct from anything I've seen before. You'll know what I'm talking about when I showcase them off. Just like the way they're kind of like coming off of her eyes is just very different from what I'm used to. And she's got really thick eyebrows, which I love it when anime girls have thick eyebrows, so that's some easy bonus points for her. Also, she's got pointy ears, if you haven't noticed. Not too long, but they are pointy. What else is there to say, though? I'm not sure if I really need to get into anything else. I think it does the talking for itself, right? This belt is very, I don't know, flexible, to the point where it feels like I'm gonna break it, but I don't think I would unless I really stretched it out. It's just kind of interesting. It's cool that she took it off, though, and it's kind of an accessory in a sense. But yeah, just a really nice, simple figure. I love the colors on this one. The orange and light blue are a nice, refreshing mix that contrasts nicely with the black socks. Legs look sexy in length and shape, and of course, gotta mention her thighs look great peeking out between the shorts and socks as well. Nice and healthy size to them. And yeah, I think this one's a winner, but she's a little expensive these days, like over 200. If you could find her for like, I don't know, 150 to 170, probably worth it, especially with the box still intact. But yeah, I like this one a lot, so happy to have her. Not sure who she's gonna go with in my shelves. I really gotta organize these better at some point, but whatever, who cares. Next figure. Oh god, I have packing peanuts everywhere. Why did I do that? Okay, here we have the Grim Aloe Succubus cheer costume version, not cheerleader. I don't know why they didn't just say cheerleader. So, I'm gonna blue ball you a little bit. I am not gonna open this figure today, and I really want to, but I just, and I mean like a couple days ago, pre-ordered the Pine swimsuit figure. They're both from Bomber Girl. I really want to talk about this series, but I feel like I should do them together. I want to do like a double review video at some point, hopefully within a month or so. It's a bit lewd, a little inappropriate, not plus 18. There's nothing about this figure that you couldn't show your mama or I couldn't show on YouTube, but it is certainly suggestive. And they're making more cheerleaders in this line, which I'm definitely going to get my hands on. Unless I don't like this for some reason, but I know I'm gonna, so that's a stupid statement. But yeah, sorry I'm not opening the Grim Aloe just yet, but I have something to make up for it, kinda, hopefully. Just gotta avoid all the bubbles and peanuts on the ground. Alright, so here's a new box. I'm gonna move Grim Aloe somewhere else. I guess on the floor. Alright, so this is my first plus 18 figure. And because of YouTube's guidelines, I can't showcase everything about this one, but I am going to open it. I'm not going to tease you on this. Here we have Lena Bell Roll. Now this is an OC character by Michihasu, an artist I actually did follow for quite a bit. And it felt like the right choice to finally dip my toes into the world of plus 18 figures. This one is cast-offable, or just has swappable parts where you could see her booba if you want to, which is the one thing I can't showcase today. She's got some pretty big cans, so I guess that should be enough for you guys, hopefully. So yeah, I like this character design. I like Michihasu. I've always liked Lena Bell Roll, so it just felt like a good fit for me. Plus, this is a Wing figure, which I don't own any of, though now that I'm buying the Pine figure, which is Wing, this is not as special anymore. Yeah, this is pretty freaking massive. Can you see that? These are the boobies. I have to be careful with that. Alright, and I'm just gonna hide these really quick if I can get them out of the packaging. But you know, I want to take a glance for myself, at the very least, right? Oh shit, they're like magnetic. Oh, that's cool. They're magnets. Wow, pasty magnets. We'll put that in the box for now. Lena Bell Roll. This base is huge, and it's the most boring shit imaginable. I can't believe they just gave us a giant clear oval. At least make it smaller so I could put it on my shelf easier. Jesus Christ. Alright, also feels like a fingerprint magnet. Metal pegs, that's good. Feels, I don't know, it just feels like plastic. I don't even know why I said anything. She also comes with this mop, which I think is pretty cool. Actually going along with the maid aesthetic, right? Looks pretty good. Pretty long, too. Almost like a weapon. Feels heavy, almost like metal or something, or die-cast. I have no idea. But it has weight, which is what's impressing me the most. She also comes with a bonus expression, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I'll probably just like showcase it off here, or I'll see how easy it is to swap off in the B-roll. But I don't plan to put that on right now because I much prefer her default face here. Woo! Ooh, mama. Okay. Let's see. I don't know which way this goes on. Oh, it's got to be this way. Okay. Let me move this out of the way, actually. Okay. I think this is one of those figures where you're going to have to, like, pull the legs a little bit because they're just not aligning. I hate that so much, dude. Why design a base like that where I have to pull the legs to make it fit? I guess it's just easiest to push one leg in and then adjust the other one. Not too bad, actually. How does this work? Oh, there's a peg in the mop. Alright. Oh, shit. She's got a hole in her hand. Oh, right. She's supposed to be, like, holding the top of it. This is so awkward, bro. Okay. Let's just, I guess, plug it in like that and then push it. That feels... Nah, that's working. Alright. Hey, Lena Bell Roll. This is one busty made. And I'm happy. Okay? Alright? I should buy more figures like this. Alright, where do we begin? I guess at the most obvious portion of this figure. Pretty nice chest sculpt. And it's not the size, alright? The size is great. But I'm really talking about the weld, or the lack thereof. It actually is a great chest sculpt where the boobs are sculpted individually so that you don't get that disgusting weld of plastic that just looks terrible when companies don't even try, but Wing actually did put in the effort, and it's nice. Also, here's a shot of her butt. Looks great, nice and curvaceous. Thighs are on the thicker side as well. But everything else about this figure is pretty cute. She's a cute character with some rather suggestive body proportions, right? Actually, just like Chachamaru, white and blue stripes. Striped stockings, striped bow ties. Her panties and her bra are just a solid blue, and they kind of have like a shine to them. They're like slightly glossy, which makes it look more like a bikini to me, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to just be underwear. I guess that's left to interpretation, but I'm going to assume it's a bra and panties because that just makes more sense. Anyway, the rest of her outfit is pretty traditional maid, right? It's like 90% what you would expect a maid to wear outside of the chest window. And it looks good. It's actually a nice dark navy blue, couple of shades of blue in there. Nice shading applied to the blues. Lots of creases and wrinkles throughout it. I like how puffy her sleeves are as they're rolled up a little bit. Throughout the character design are some golden hearts like on the buckles of her shoes, on her stocking garters. There's some at her waist and even on her wrists. I just think that's really adorable. Her fingernails are painted in a light blue, besides one finger which has pink. So that's just fun. I like that they bothered to do that little detail for her. Shading on the hair is good, especially when I compare it to Chachamaru, who I just looked at. There's definitely a better, like, variety of yellows, way more definition on, like, the back of her head, more individual strands of hair. It's also a bit more voluminous. Though I guess Chachamaru was voluminous as well. I should have said that about her. Her face is adorable. I love the blush applied to it. The expression is super happy, very cheerful and inviting. I'm giving her points for actually having teeth instead of a gummy mess. I like that. And as I'm staring at the mop, thinking of something to say about it, it actually looks like it's painted in a way to look wet. There's a bit of like shine to some of the mop, and I think that is intentional. I don't think that's just like excess glue or paint or something. It does feel like it's supposed to be wet because it's a mop. You mop the floor, it's wet, you gotta clean it. This feels appropriate. I haven't seen any like paint flaw on this figure whatsoever. Like, I'm kind of impressed. I know I'm being a broken record here because why would I buy something I don't think is good, but this is really well done. I'm surprised there's not any paint flaw on this figure at all. Like, I really can't find anything at all. Also, that's a nice angle. Sorry. That's, yeah, I don't know. This is really, really well done from Wing. I kind of assumed they were a little worse for some reason, but this is great. This is really good. And the great thing about this figure is if you like this, I'm pretty sure it did not go up in price. I think it's still around 20,000 yen, which makes me feel bad. Like, I think Michihasu deserves to sell out of his figure, especially when it's done this well. So, if you like really big boob maids, pretty good. Pretty damn good. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because this base is boring as hell, and they could have tried harder, and when I look at it, I have to see Michihasu made in China. Why? They should have just given her some, like, marble flooring or something, so that the mop would have made sense, but we got this. So, we're gonna move on to our final figures. Alright, so I had to move Lena Bell out of the way because this box is very big, as well as the next box, but this is one of my most anticipated figures of the year, and it got delayed a whole year, so it should have been my 2021 most anticipated figure of the year. They also gave me a poster for it. Wow, that's awesome. It actually is pretty cool. But this is, okay, the Reimu Lost Word figure, made by Good Smile Company. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Reimu figures ever made, potentially. And I only say that because I haven't opened it yet. And unfortunately, there's a problem with this figure, which I'll find out when I review her. Some people are getting this figure, and the peg just breaks. When you put her on, the peg just breaks. And I don't know what's gonna happen if that's the case with my figure. I'll have to get a replacement or something, but man, I really don't want that to be the case because I was looking forward to this for so long. This looks beautiful. Even the box looks amazing. Look at this box art. This looks so nice. The art the figure is based on, some zoom-ins over here. This is phenomenal. And it's not the only figure I'm talking about when it comes to Lost Word in that review. Because I also have this box, which is even bigger, but no poster this time, unfortunately. I gotta stand up for this one. Okay, so here we have the Marissa from the Lost Word series as well. Now this one's interesting because nobody gave a shit about it. They released this figure, overpriced it, and it technically looked nowhere near as good as Reimu's figure. Now this one's made by Max Factory, so different companies handled each figure. And the only reason that I bought this one is because the yen was so weak a couple months back that I was able to get this for about 190, which is still a lot, but considering prices these days, I'm okay with that. As long as this figure meets most of my expectations, I'm fine. But yes, I'm gonna do a double review for these at the same time. I think there's a lot to say about them. I don't think anybody has really made reviews for either. Certainly not Marissa. I've been waiting to see someone's opinion on this for a while. But Reimu is definitely the more popular of the two. And I think that's warranted because this just looks like the better figure by like a mile. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into them. Because my Shootin' Doji review is delayed, this might be the next one I do. I'm not really sure. But, yes, I'm gonna go ham on this review. I'm really looking forward to making it. I hope you're looking forward to seeing it. And I'm sorry if this is like a cheap out on the unboxing for you, but they're just too big. Like, these are gonna take a while to set up. There's a lot of pieces in these figures, and I want to do the review justice for them. So, that'll be next time for sure, but that's everything that I had to unbox in this video. I actually do have more than this that I haven't gotten around to showing off yet, but I think this is a pretty good chunk of everything that I had in my room that I don't feel like I'm gonna really talk about too much in the near future, so why not showcase them right now? 7 figures, 3 boxes, a bunch of plushies. I think that's a pretty good haul. I'm glad I opened these, but I have no idea on the entertainment value of these kind of videos. I like to script them, but this was totally off the cuff, so I don't know. Let me know how you enjoyed this one. I had a good time. It was mostly just an excuse to fill out these shelves because I'm kind of tired of them looking pretty bare on my videos, so a couple of these should help it out quite a bit. But that's going to do it. So thanks for watching. Like I said earlier, have yourselves a good holiday. If you want to support the channel, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, of course. I have an affiliate link with Hobby Link Japan if you want to shop at that store. And I guess that's it. So until next time, I'll just see you later. Bye.